This is a brick, this is a cup, this is my mask, and this is a broken cup. A broken cup. The first impression is always the most important. The first 10 seconds of any video, a job interview, and especially social interactions. Except for us VTubers, because we're socially inept anyways. And these actions will often determine how we see someone else or others will see us. And a VTuber's design is more or less just as important. Would you like to be a librarian? Or a cutesy VTuber with a cutesy vibe? Or what about a wholesome VTuber with a wholesome vibe? Did you get the joke? Because it said wholesome VTuber with... Yeah, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Such an integral part of VTubing can be tough to approach, and having so many different parts can be hard to design around, like color theory, character archetype, fine details, and lore. And so I decided to help my viewers design their VTuber models. Let's see how this goes. What qualifications do I have that let me be able to do this? My ego. This is Fruit by the Foot, and for the sake of this video, we're going to be calling him Fruit. Not Fruit the Lich, but like a literal goddamn fruit. He's one of my closest friends and an aspiring VTuber. And I know there's going to be someone out there who's going to be like, oh, but you said these were your viewers, you scammed me. First of all, shut the fuck up. Second of all, he does watch all of my content, so by technicality, he is a viewer. You have not been clickbaited. He's an aspiring VTuber, and by aspiring, I mean I convinced him to join me in my delusions. The information that he knows about VTubing is from when I'm ranting at 2 in the morning and I'm barely conscious, so he is the perfect candidate going into this because he can't tell if I'm bullshitting him or not. I want to create something that is very much him. The goal is for when he uses this thing, it should feel as if he is just using a glorified filter. But with that out of the way, the first topic will be what is a character archetype, and why should I care? You see, a character archetype is a type of character, usually representing specific actions and or characteristics. And a lot of VTuber designs have a character archetype that they work everything else around. Usually a job class like adventurer, detective, royalty, or even a racial archetype like dragon, zombies, squirrels, and so on. Just as a couple of examples, we have Haruka, the seed of life, and Fauna, mother nature. Both of their job classes revolve around nature and as such have a green, yellowish tone with their racial archetype based around their job. Ike Eveland is a royal novelist, and so his colors revolve around a more refined and regal look. And Kyo Kaneko is an actual fucking printer. I don't know if his job class is a printer, or if his race is a printer, or both. We are setting the foundation and support to easily construct a theme and design. And my line of questioning for archetypes for anyone looking to design a VTuber is quite simple. What is your favorite video game?
I regret to say that Apex Legends.
What are your hobbies? Sorry. What are your hobbies? God damn it. I need to say this line without you getting in my goddamn way. Do you understand me?
Okay, I'm sorry.
What are your hobbies?
Can I just say all of the above?
No.
The state of the economy.
Have you ever considered getting a colonoscopy?
What?
Basically what we were trying to do is find out what the subject likes, and then blow it out of proportion and then create a VTuber. Do you like Lux from League of Legends? Then literally just become the concept of light. Do you like energy drinks? Then become an energy drink, or at least an unbranded one. Just mess around and find out. The oyster is your world. What the fuck did I just say? The world is your oyster. But I'm sure you understand what we're looking for, and if you don't, well, I don't know, pick your favorite RPG class or something. In this case specifically, none of this matters because I can read this dude about as well as 177013 was difficult to. He's going to be an adventurer swordsman. And when I was talking to him about his archetype, he said swordsman. I was right. A color palette can often make or break a design in itself. It is important to note that in Fauna's design, it is very cohesive, with a selection of floral colors mainly being white, green, pink, and yellow, and a single darker blue to highlight the other colors and make them stand out that much more. But choosing a couple of colors can be very difficult if you don't know what to look for. There's a rule in color theory, kind of sort of related to this topic. We should have 3 color groups separated by 60, 30, and 10 proportions. 60 will be the base colors, 30 will be the complementary, and 10 will be an accent. We don't need to follow these exactly, but it's a pretty good idea in terms of balancing. So in terms of design for what we are working with today, I asked him what colors he thought were nice. Initially, this son of a bitch gave me these darker red, magenta, and purple shades. Alright, I can work with this. And then a bright pink and blue. Okay, maybe. I see something working out. And then he gives me bright pink pastel colors. What the fuck am I supposed to do with this? Like, why did I don't know why I let this bitch choose the colors he wanted. Like, I know it's his VTuber and all, but like, I should have just told him blue or something like that. It wasn't worth it, man. This is all to say that if you want to use 500 different colors, you can in fact use 500 different colors. Just know that it might end up being really hard to balance and may end up looking a lot less good than you thought it would be. Of course, this is all just my opinion, so please take it with a grain of salt, but you know, I don't really think bright neon colors would be good for like a librarian, right? So just keep that in mind. Have you ever built a portal in Minecraft? Everyone is familiar with the basic 10 obsidian portal, which functions, yes, but kind of looks like a piece of shit and is sad. Now, if you were going to compare it to something like this, that is another portal. Details breathe life into things. It brings character, and without this detail, things become a little bit bland. Even my background has a lot going on, and if you take it away, it suddenly becomes a lot less real. On a VTuber, although based around anime and a whole lot less real, it's also important because you don't need to be a carbon copy of Kirito. Seriously, it feels like every other season there's at least one Kirito. This can include accessories, clothing, pins, certain folds, tattoos, glasses, and the list keeps on going and goes on for a very long time. When Fruit picks his accessories specifically, I want them to tie into his overall design, depending on how important it is to him. One of the first things that he said was that he wanted, and was a non-negotiable item, is this symbol. For those of you who don't know what it is, this is a bisexual pride symbol, something that is very important to him, and since I am helping him, it is very important to me as well. We're going to be making this an integral part of the design, so it ties well into who he is as a person. Initially, when he said he wanted this, he wanted it to be a hairpin, and then I looked at him straight in his eyes and said, "You're fucking stupid." Now this would work if he didn't want his actual hair to be part of his design. He has a pretty curly, puffy style and generally more uncontrolled. See, it would work well on something like the straight hair where it's like comes in locks, right? But his doesn't. Small details need to make sense, otherwise they can kind of just throw off a design. And initially I suggested that he make it a necklace, but he didn't like that very much. Okay, then I suggested that he make it like a small emblem or an embroiderment or something like that. He didn't like that either, so we're just gonna put that with the archetype and the whack-ass color palette for now. The other details were more easily decided upon. Curly hair, a minor scar, potential horns, and a cloak. That kind of thing that didn't really need to be adjusted. When I was working with him, I asked him to search up various things that he liked in order to draw some inspiration and for some reference. So one of the things that he found was Link from the Legend of Zelda series, specifically this image of Link shooting an arrow with his augmented arm. This is kind of where my first mini breakthrough happens. A large part of designing something around someone else's preference is getting a lot of random shit with absolutely no correlation. Over time, you eventually stockpile enough things and a large amount of assets and suddenly it hits you. So here's something that came to mind. Something that I left out of the archetype segment was that this indecisive son of a bitch actually liked the idea of a rogue swordsman as well as an adventurer swordsman. Fuck me, I guess, but I do think I can actually make this work. We're going to be giving him 2 different styles, which does well to show his personality. Design 1 will have a heavier design with a pastel color palette, accompanied by padded armor, gloves, boots, and a cloak, giving more of a standard hero paladin feel. Design 2 will be a lightweight one, making use of the darker color palettes as well as shrinking down his outfit entirely. A tunic instead of armor, fingerless gloves, Harry Potter style cloak, you get the idea. Design 2 will also have an exposed arm, revealing the demonic arm trope. More muscular, darker color palette, and definitely leaning towards an anti-hero. And here's where I made the most important revelation. I designed Asta from Black Clover. Holy shit, I just realized we're just designing Asta.
No. No. It's literally just Asta.
I just realized what... You know how you're designing your roguelike adventure? My frame of reference for my design eventually is going to be Ike Eveland. I'm just straight up designing Yuna.
You know... Our designs seem very similar.
Moral of the story is that demon arms are cool, but just be careful because you might accidentally design something that definitely probably already exists. But there were a couple of things that I did like about the concept before I realized what I was designing. Having a dual concept model works well in order to satisfy two separate archetypes with two different color palettes, with both archetypes being relatively the same and the color palettes just being different shades. We can make one of the colors stand out that much more, which will be the 30% in both of the designs. Dark blue for the light style and a light blue for the dark style, just so it stands out that much more. Now, this design process is a whole lot more chaotic than I've chosen how to present it to you. It's a lot of going back and forth between concepts and topics until we get a result that we actually like. And so something that he literally just texted me 5 minutes ago is that he has an idea for his race. Instead of being a demon, he can be a half angel, half demon, which is a Nephilim. And it works quite well because then it can kind of just show itself depending on the form that he adapts. So, kind of proud of him for this one. Now, with this in mind and just a little bit more thinking, I am going to present the design that I am going to present to him. Now, keeping the previous designs in mind, I want to keep almost everything the same, with the exception of the demon arm. It's very overused, and I thought it would be cool. Then the more I thought about it, the more I realized that it was just cringe. For clarity purposes, we're going to be calling the light palette design Solar and the dark palette Lunar. Earlier on in this video, I mentioned that he wanted a cloak to be part of his design. So putting one to one together in important aspects, why don't we add the double crescent moon as a clasp? And not only that, but what if we had it change based off his transformation? In Lunar, it can stay as a moon, but in Solar, why don't we have it transform into a sun, which is basically just a glorified circle. I imagine the way his transformation would work is by clicking the clasp in the middle and having magic augment him, just by increasing or decreasing the weight depending on what he wants. Now, for specifics for what he would want, I told him to collect a very large amount of references for clothing, and to circle the parts that interested him, so when he eventually works with someone else, they have a lot of reference. If you plan to ever get something commissioned by an artist, make sure you have a lot of reference when you do so, just because we don't want them grasping at straws for design ideas out of thin air. Another suggestion that I thought would be cool in thematics was having his cloak tie into his race as well. Solar is going to have a heavier cloak which looks more similar to that of feathers or like, angel wings. And his lunar cloak can be a lightweight, sharper, more agile looking cape with tattered ends. If you've noticed anything so far, it should be that the bulk of these suggestions that I'm making are only theme based, and that's because, quite frankly, with smaller details, I can't do them. So I've just left that up to him, and I've taken my hands off it completely. I want you to just give your reaction to what I just said. Do you like it?
I agree.
No, you gotta give me more of a reaction.
I mean, overall, I agree. My main concern is that I don't want it to be too bulky because I don't imagine myself as being a bulky character or wanting to be a bulky character, more hero-like and stuff. So as long as it's not like overly large, I agree.
Okay, we'll work on that and then we'll thin down the cape and stuff like that. It's currently 12 a.m. I just woke up. I need to finish this video. Some of the important details that I did not mention should be brought up now. His first name is going to be Horizon, hence Project Horizon, inspired by Horizon from Apex Legends, which is his favorite character from his favorite game. And depending on the state he is in, he can either be Horizon Solar or Horizon Lunar, which, go figure, is based off the emblem of his class, which thematically I think works well because just over the horizon you can either observe the solar or the lunar year. Not only that, but depending on the form that he takes, there will either be a C backward C or a backward C in the middle, so it ends up looking like Horizon Solar and Horizon Lunar in its written form. And when I told him about this, I said that it was because I thought it looked cool in its written form, but it's actually because I just wanted to make a pun out of his name. So if you rearrange the words in his name, it gives you Horizon Lunar Colony from Overwatch. So I thought that was really funny. Oh, he also has a third form that I didn't talk about called Horizon Solun, which is a half and half design. It turns out models are expensive and getting two is basically detrimental. So basically this entire video is pointless. And on top of that, the model isn't even done yet, which means I can't show you what it looks like. So I'm just gonna kill myself. And you should check Horizon out since he's also gonna be debuting soon. And if he doesn't, I'm gonna kill him. All of his links are also gonna be down in the description, and when you're down there, you should subscribe to me because this video took a long time to make. Horizon has lore as well that I helped design. It's gonna be shared eventually and is actually tied into my lore as well, but he doesn't know that second part yet, which is really weird because I don't even have a VTuber design yet, but I still have lore. I should probably go figure that out. Huh. I know what my next video is gonna be.